Just start with the grim news on Jordan Turner. What's the situation?
Yeah, broken his thumb, so he's going to be out for probably 6 to 8 weeks, depending on obviously how his rehab and recovery goes from it, and how quickly that knits together. So, yeah, he's unfortunately out for us.
You've only got 9 games left. How big a blow is that?
Yeah, it's a big blow. It takes a vast amount of experience out of the team, and that experience is invaluable at this moment in time. He's also been, playing well and carrying the ball strongly out of backfield for us, and he's a good defensive centre because he's been around the game a long while. So yeah, that experience is going to be, a hole to fill. But it gives obviously, Brody an opportunity to, play some consistent football as a centre. So yeah, I'm looking forward to obviously seeing how he goes.
Can JT still have an influence, do you feel, at quite a crucial time now?
Yeah, definitely. Once he's, able to get back over this way, from a driving point of view, be able to jump in and get over, with a couple of his teammates, his experience and knowledge around the place will be invaluable for us.
What just ahead of this game, then what sort of selection issues might you have elsewhere?
Yeah, we're okay. We've got potentially 3 or 4 back for the Hull KR game, which is pleasing to see. We've had a fairly hefty amount of players on the sidelines, injured and not able to do what they want to do, which is perform and play well for us. So we're looking quite good on the horizon. So we're okay in that sense. For this game, yeah, just 1 or 2 decisions that have to be made. The makeup of the bench and the starting edges. With obviously JT going down, so we'll finalise those decisions. We've done that on team run, and we've got a strong team out tomorrow, and we're looking to put in a good strong performance and get a result.
So injury issues are starting to ease further down the line, but reinforcements can always reinvigorate a side. Are you actively looking at the moment to bring anyone in?
It's the same conversations every week. We are actively looking and trying to get the right people to come in to help our group is massively important. The players that come in, they need to add value to the group and make other players better and spark obviously a little bit of that positivity which a new signing does. JJ's been good for us. Obviously, he came in last week, give us a real good solid start. He'll be better against Hull FC, and as an energizer, and it's been good around the training venue. So he's given us a little bit of a spark. But like we say, we are looking, but it's making sure that we get the right person.
Inevitably, you're going to be measured against what's happening just down the road. Obviously, Wakefield have brought players in, and Josh Griffin was the latest. Did you feel that sort of fans will look at that and say, well, why aren't we bringing players in? But you're saying it's the right player.
Yeah, I can't really comment on obviously what other teams are doing. All I know is that we are looking, and we've made some inquiries about some players, and the final part of it is getting the deal done. It's tough. Other teams obviously have been a little bit more successful than we have. But like I say, we are looking, and we want to get that player in that can make a difference.
Did you know Josh Griffin was available?
Did I know Josh Griffin was available? Yeah, I found out on Saturday morning. So yeah, we knew he was available.
Did you think of having a punt at him? Obviously, someone you know well.
Yeah. We had a little conversation, but obviously he's made the decision to go to Wakefield, so that's obviously on Josh.
So the group is the group you've got at the moment. Obviously, you're aware of the predicament you're in. Do you feel it's a group that's got the stomach for the fight ahead?
They have to have, that's something we've spoke about recently. There's 9 games to go. We've got the ball's in our court. We're 2 points clear at the moment. And our points for and against is a little bit better than Wakefield's. We've got to make sure that we're performing well, training well, and take care of our own business. If we get some wins and get some performances, then the table will take care of itself. So, that's been a message to the players. They know the predicament they're in. You know, it's a tough one. You know, we're battling it out at the bottom of the table. You know, with Wakefield, you know, they've found, you know, 3 wins in the last 4, you know, so they've found a little bit of form. You know, we need to return safe, so to speak, and go after these games, you know, which are coming up.
Obviously, you've been there long enough, Lasty, to get a gauge on the mentality of that group that you've got there. Is it a group that needs sort of reminding about the perils of relegation, or is it a group that, you know, that might spook them?
That's been the farm balance, you know, the group probably at the beginning of the year, you know, we're considering, you know, being in a relegation scrap with names on paper, etc., etc. But you've got to deliver, you know, names on paper, you don't get your wins, you know, performances get your wins. And, you know, we need to make sure that our senior players, you know, perform to the best of their ability. And, you know, the group, you know, work hard and execute when it comes to game day. And we just haven't been able to quite nail performance and in the big moments. And I think last week, you know, there was a couple of moments in the game where just some of their players who was banging form, you know, changed the outcome of the game. And that was the same against St Helens the week before against against Warrington. You know, Jack Broadbent was able to come up with a moment at the end of the game to confirm the victory. And, you know, Gareth Widdop came up with a couple of moments in that game to get us a win. And we just need to make sure that we're right in the fight. And then when those moments come, you know, we've got the ability, the temperament and the skill to ice those moments. And that's ultimately the difference between a win and a loss.
How big a challenge do you face at Hull then?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. You know, they're in good form. I think they've won 7 from the last 9. You know, they've got some players in good form, and, you know, there seems to be a fit and healthy squad at the moment. It's a tough place to go and play. I know when the supporters are behind them, it makes it even more challenging. But we're looking forward to the opportunity of going there on a Saturday afternoon, playing in front of, you know, a big crowd on a fast surface, and hopefully showcasing the best of what we are to get the performance and result that we want.
Just a quick one. I think it's Liam Watts' 350th appearance. I mean, obviously, as somebody you know well, just give us a few words about, you know, his career so far and what it can still offer.
Yeah, well, I think last week was his 300th career Super League appearance, I think. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, his 300th Super League appearance. So obviously he had a bit of a presentation and put a bit of a video together, you know, which his family obviously participated in and his teammates participated in, which went down well. Yeah, he's been a good servant to the game as Watsy. It'd probably hit 400 by now if he hadn't spent so much time suspended. But no, he's a good kid. He's Liam, and, you know, someone obviously I've known a long time. He was part of a scholarship group back at Hull when Joe Westerman, obviously them 2 guys, and I think it was Fev Lyons, you know, the Tommy Briscoe's team, and, you know, Joe Westerman and Richie Owen, you know, so it was a team with full, you know, quality and pedigree. And, you know, he's been exceptional as a kid. Very, very athletic, skillful, plays on the edge, and he's been a good servant to the game, and he's certainly been a good servant for Castleford Tigers. I do think in the last month we've seen a little bit of an upturn in Liam's form, which is what we need from him, because of that experience and seniority he's got in the group. I'm looking forward to him performing well for us tomorrow.
Your first time going back to Hull as a head coach, how are you feeling ahead of the game on a personal level?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a club that, you know, has been a massive part of my life, was Hull FC. You know, spent 23 years there. You know, supported them as a young lad, and family, you know, have you know, spent a fair bit of time obviously on the terraces there. So yeah, it's a special place, and, you know, I'm looking forward to going there with Castleford and, you know, stopping the momentum that they've got, and hopefully getting a good performance and getting 2 points, because it's very, very important for me here at Castleford in the here and now. You know, this club is, you know, my livelihood, and I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to be leading, you know, Castleford, and I'm looking forward to going to Hull and putting in a strong performance and hopefully get there with a win.
Yeah, you say it's a tough place to go. You've yet to win an away game this year, and 6 of your final 9 are on the road. Is that a cause for concern, that form?
Yeah, obviously it's a cause for concerned. You know, we haven't been great on the road. There's different reasons for that. You know, you're coming up against teams who are in form or you're injured, etc., etc. You know, we can't look too much about, you know, our home and away record. We just got to focus on the 80 minutes, regardless of where it is. It's still a rugby field, and, you know, strip it right back and just make sure that you turn up, work hard, you know, make your one-on-ones from a defensive point of view, make sure your ball control's good, and enjoy the opportunity of getting a result and putting in a strong performance.
He's obviously put Cass under more strain, but do you look at Wakey's recent run as a bit of an example of how quickly things can turn and you can get some momentum going?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You know, we got a win against Leeds, and then we lost one, and then we won one. So, you know, we was in reasonable form. It can quickly turn around, you know. Hull FC are an example of it. You know, they went 7 losses on the bounce, and then they've managed to get 3 wins. Once against Huddersfield, I think one was against Wigan, and then they picked up another one, what probably weren't expected to get. And it bounces them up the table. I think every team in the competition are taking points off each other. I still think there's going to be some highs and lows on this roller coaster of a season for all teams. You know, I'm just hoping that we can get on an upward trajectory and get some momentum and get some results and performances, and none sooner than Hull FC on Saturday.
You mentioned just before that a few players probably weren't expecting to be in this position at the start of the year. Wakey have recent history of avoiding relegation, whereas it's a while since Cass have been in this situation. Does that count for anything during the running?
No, probably not. Probably not. You know, the ball's in our court, like I've said. You know, we're 2 points clear of Wakefield at the moment, and a better point for and against. There's 9 games to go. You take care of business and win, you know, 4 or 5 of those games. You may not be looking over your shoulder. So we need to just focus on 1 week at a time, putting in strong 80-minute performances.
When was the sort of point that you start looking over your shoulder and looking at Wakefield's results? Was last week the sort of worst example of that, where you came close for a period to picking something up yourself and then come off and see that they've got the golden point?
I think last week was one which, you know, hit the group hard. You know, you're up to your neck in a battle with Lee. You know, the game's in the balance. It's 22 points to 16. We have an opportunity, you know, to probably post some points and get the game all square, and that would have got the crowd, you know, fully engaged and behind us. We don't quite take that opportunity, and they managed to get a couple of scores away from us. And then, you know, the news started to filter in that, you know, Wakefield have beaten Wigan, and, you know, the changing room after the game was a real sombre place, but it was my job to obviously pick them up. I think we've done that well. You know, we turned in. We've had a couple of really, really good sessions this week. The boys are in good spirits, looking forward to, you know, the challenge of, you know, going to Hull FC on Saturday and getting a performance and result. And we need it. You know, we need a good performance. And if we get a good performance, you give yourself a chance of getting that result. And that's a big one for us this Saturday.
Obviously, you mentioned earlier on that maybe at the start of the season, some of the players weren't expecting to be in a relegation battle. Do you think the squad are fully aware of what, if the worst case scenario happened, what it could cause to the club, and obviously the sort of future of the club?
Yeah, obviously they all know that. You know, smart individuals, the rugby players, but they're fully aware of the situation that we find ourselves in. You know, relegation would be absolutely devastating for us. We don't want to be relegated, and we're working hard on a daily basis to make sure that doesn't happen. Like I say, there's 9 games to go. There's a lot of points available to us. We need to go out and put in our best performance week in, week out to give ourselves a chance of getting more wins rather than the losses.
And just lastly from me, what will next week look like for you? Does that depend on the result tomorrow?
What will next week look like?
Yeah, obviously with the break in the games for Challenge Cup.
Yeah, we'll be in training. They're in Monday. They'll be in Tuesday. Wednesday will be off, and then they'll be in Thursday. They'll probably get the Friday, Saturday, Sunday to, you know, spend a little bit of recovery time. So no, they'll be in training. Got a little bit of work to do next week. And we'll watch that game with interest. Obviously, Hull KR play Wigan, and we play Hull KR next. So, you know, we'll spend a little bit of time previewing that and having a look at that, with a view to going to Hull KR the following week.